Good morning everyone. See, today we are going to study about dihybrid cross. See, already we have discussed example 1 in the previous video. Now I'm going to solve one more example related to dihybrid cross. So I've told you already, out of this 7 pair of contrasting character, we have to select any 2 character for doing dihybrid cross. Any 2 you can take out of this 7. You can take stem height with pod shape, or flower color with seed shape, or pod shape with flower color. Any of the 7 contrasting, out of this any of the 7 contrasting character, you have to select any 2. In previous video we took seed shape and seed color, that is we crossed round yellow with wrinkled green and we did the crossing over. Now we'll do the stem height and flower color, that is tall violet with dwarf white. First we'll write the parents. So parents will be, as we have taken stem height, in that tall and dwarf. Tall is the dominant and dwarf is the recessive character. When it comes to flower color, violet is the dominant and white is the recessive character. So we need to cross tall violet with dwarf white. Tall violet with dwarf white. So or else you can write tall white at one side, tall white crossed with dwarf violet also. Same thing, we'll get the same F1 generation. Just to avoid confusion, we'll write the dominant at one side and recessive character at another side. Then after writing parents, we have to write the gametes. As these are dominant character, we'll write, if you take tall, as this is dominant, we'll take first letter of the dominant character, that is TT. Same thing with violet, capital V and capital V. See, as this dwarf white both are recessive, we have to take small letters of this dominant character. So that will be small t, small v, small v. So it is not compulsory that you have to take the same letters. You can take any of the letter. Just to avoid confusion, we'll take first letter of the dominant character. Then in next step, we'll take one T as common and one V. Here also small t and small v. Then after syngamy or after fusion, we'll get the F2 generation, that is capital T, small t, capital V, small v. We need to combine and we need to write capital T, small t, capital V, small v. So this will be the F1 generation, first filial generation obtained by the syngamy of the parents, that is tall violet into dwarf white. So this character will be, as this consists of one capital letter, it will be tall. Due to the presence of capital V, this will be violet. But the difference is, this is homozygous condition, homozygous tall violet, this is homozygous dwarf white. In F1 generation, we'll get heterozygous condition. This will be heterozygous tall violet. So this is our first step. First we need to select parents. Then we have to write the gametes. Then we have to write the F1 generation. So it is very important to write the character which is expressed in F1 generation. So this is about first half. The next important step is F1 selfing. We need to cross F1 with F1. See, for this I have told you very simple step. I'll tell you one more time. That is, you write this as it is. That is F1 generation as it is. T, T, capital V, small v. Just you need to cross capital T once with capital V and once with small v. Then small t with capital V once, small t with small v once. So finally we'll get capital T with capital V. Then secondly capital T with small v. Then small t with capital V. Small t with capital V. Small t with small v. Small v, don't get confused, this is capital V. Sorry, see, while writing capital V and small v, show some sort of difference or it will be confusing. See, just you need to multiply this capital T once with capital V, that is TV, and capital T once with small v, capital T small v. Then same thing, small t once with capital V, small t once with small v. So here are the gametes for doing crossing over in the next step. See, if a few members, this seems to be difficult, this dihybrid cross. That means the students who are studying this concept for the first time. So it is given in 10 CBSE. I don't know whether the state syllabus students are familiar with the topic. So if you are studying this topic for the first time, no need to worry. I'll explain you this once again in the classroom if you have any doubts. Capital T, small v, small t, capital V, small t, small v. After doing F1 selfing, the gametes which we have got, capital T, capital V, capital T, small v, small t, capital V, small t, small v. See here, you use pencil and scale to draw the Punnett square. See here, after writing the gametes, you have to leave an extra line to write the characteristic feature. Okay, then, so just we need to multiply this and we need to write the combinations. We need to cross this TV with all for this combinations. First this TV with this capital T, capital T, capital V, capital V. Then this with this T, T, capital V, small v. This with this capital T, small t, capital V, capital V. This with this capital T, small t, capital V, small v. So you can see the difference between this capital V and small v. Then same thing, we need to multiply this with all four of this with this capital T, capital T, capital V, small v. This with this T, T, small v, this with this capital T, small t, capital V, small v. This with this capital T, small t, small v, small v. This with all four this sets. First this TV with this capital T, small t, capital V, capital V. This with this T, small t, capital V, small v. This with this small t, capital V, capital V. This with this small t, capital V, small v. this, with this, capital T, small t, capital V, small with this, T, T, V, V, this, with this, small t, capital V, small with this, small t, small t, small v, small v. Then last work is to write its characteristic feature. See, for writing characteristic feature, I have told you, for writing dominant character, if it consists of two T's or single T, two V's or single V, so it will be dominant, that is tall and violet. But for writing dwarf white, so two T's are compulsory. That means for every recessive character, for writing recessive character, so two letters are compulsory. So here, due to the presence of two T's and two V's, that will be tall violet. This will be tall. Here one capital V is present, so it will be violet. Here also same, tall violet, same thing, tall violet. T, capital V, tall violet. See, if capital letters are there, no need to see, it will be dominant tall, but here two small V's are there, so two small V means that will be white. So here one capital D is there, so tall, one V is there, we can write violet. So here also one capital T is there, so tall, two small V's. Two small V means that will be white. So here capital T, capital V is there, so tall violet. Same, tall violet. Here two small T's are there. Two small T's means recessive character, dwarf. Capital V is there, so violet. Two small T's means dwarf. One capital V is there, so it is violet. Here one capital T, one capital V is there, so tall violet. Capital T is there, so it is tall. Two small V's, white. Two small T's, dwarf. One capital V is there, so we can write violet. Two small T's, dwarf. Two small V's, white. So here we come at the end of the crossing over. See, after finishing all this, see, writing this gametes is very easy. While writing this, you have to concentrate only this column, then you have to write its characteristic feature. So writing its characteristic feature is not so difficult. For writing dominant, if one single T, one single V is present, or two capital T's or one single letter is present, that is dominant. But for writing recessive, two letters are compulsory. So finally we have to write F2 ratio, so that will be 9:3:3:1. If it is a dihybrid cross, you have to get this ratio. That means if your crossing over is correct, if your Punnett square is correct, then we'll get this ratio. 9 means always, that is dominant character. Dominant character is tall violet. Dominant character always comes in 9 ratio. You can check here. In 3 ratio, we'll get tall white, tall white, tall white. One more 3 ratio, dwarf violet, dwarf violet, dwarf violet. One always will be both the recessive character that comes at the end, that is dwarf white. So this ratio you can write directly also. Just by seeing the parent, we can write F2 ratio. See, always the dominant character of the parent, tall violet, comes in 9 ratio, and the recessive character always comes in 1 ratio. Remaining this tall white, that is combination tall white, dwarf violet. That means one dominant, one recessive, mixture of that comes in 3:3 ratio. So after you're crossing over, if you get the dominant character in 9 ratio, recessive character in 1 ratio, rest the mixture, that means tall,